Here in Nigeria, President-elect Bola Tinubu on Wednesday met with the leadership of his party, the All Progressives Congress National Assembly members of the party, and other stakeholders in furtherance of consultation and lobbying over the zoning of principal positions of the 10th National Assembly. However, a group of former National Assembly members have sounded the alarm against zoning of legislative positions alongside offices in the executive arm of government. The group advised Tinubu and the governors-elect not to meddle in the election of principal officers of the 10th National Assembly. Arise analyst Mr. Dayo Sobowale joins us now to put things in proper perspective. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. It's always a pleasure to have you. I would like to begin with, the comment or the advice given to the president-elect and the governors-elect about not meddling when it comes to this.
It's a very, very wise advice, and it is timely. I commend them for it, and I will elaborate. You see, we are running a presidential system of government. But the mindset of even our legislators, old and new, is that we are running a parliamentary democracy, which is not the case. You see, our history from independence was one of parliamentary democracy. But the military came in, and then they put in the presidential system of government. You have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, all equal in a system of checks and balances. That is what those wise legislators are trying to tell our people. And I think, in a way, they are trying to heed it, because the president of the Senate and some people, heavy weights of APC met Tinubu, and when they came out, they did not say anything. Unlike before, where they will give press conferences. I don't think that is right. And I can illustrate with examples elsewhere. See the midterm elections in the US, which the Republicans won by a slim majority. When it came to electing the speaker on the floor of the House, all the Democrats voted with their full strength. The Republicans had to vote 15 times before they could muster a majority amongst them. The Democrats didn't jump to their side. Do you get me? They didn't jump to their side, because that is democracy. In the former Federal Republic of Germany, before Germany fused, even after it fused, you had three main parties: Social Democrats, Christian Democrats, and one other party. Federal Free Democrats. The Free Democrats were always in the minority. But you see, either the SDP or the Christian, they never had absolute majority. So they will have to team up. So the Free Democrats became the sweet bride, as it were, until at a stage the two major parties fused. But Germany, too, is a parliamentary democracy. Look at me. Let me give you the latest example. Maybe 2 days ago, in the US, Congress, House of Representatives, the debt ceiling, they were going to vote on it. All the Democrats voted that it should not be raised. The Republicans had a meeting amongst themselves, bargain on some issues. 4 of them voted against it, but they still passed it. That is party discipline. That is what we need, and that is what we lack. Each time we talk, it's about zoning, and we leave competence, we leave integrity, we leave capability aside. That is not the nature of a presidential system of government. The presidential system of government is there so that nobody abuses power or misuses power. The judiciary is to curtail is to interpret the Constitution and curtail the excesses of either the legislature or the executive. You get me? But don't let me say anything about our judiciary. But essentially, the point I want to stress is that the presidential system of government is immensely different from the parliamentary system of government, which is the mindset of all those running about, etc., looking for offices. And then, you know, see, in governance, even in negotiations, in political dog fighting, there must be some measure of confidentiality. They don't have it. They just go to the media, they say this, they say that, and then the media, no, they broadcast it as if it is the gospel truth. So at a stage, you know, Tinubu even said, nobody knows the nature of his government. They should allow him. And that's decency. You know, he is the president. The winner takes all. That's the presidential system of government. It's not the prime minister to looking for coalition. It's the president. The buck stops on his table. Yes.
You know, Mr. Sobowale, there has, of course, been very intense lobbying for the contenders of the Senate presidency and the Speaker's position. And you know, while we wait the final decision of the president-elect and the party, the Northwest geopolitical zone, now we've heard the South-South named and the Southeast named a lot of times, but now we're seeing the Northwest geopolitical zone insisting that it should produce the next Senate president in appreciation of support for the party in the presidential election. They are saying they brought the votes, so they are the ones that are supposed to get in there.
But we discussed it there before. The Northwest, I don't see the Northwest considering the presidency of the Senate, because I mean, they have always brought the largest number of votes for any party in government, even now with APC. But then they should be patriotic enough and understanding enough to know that with the Muslim ticket, you cannot alienate. Nigeria is 50-50 Christian-Muslim. You cannot alienate people like that. You cannot. So it's a system of give and take. But I don't want to speculate on that, because it is on the floor of the House that the election will take place. And party discipline must be there. You cannot be, is it a marketplace? It is not. There must be party discipline. And, well, it's none of Tinubu's business, because that's the executive. System of checks and balances, it should not delve into legislative matters. See, even the example of America that I mentioned, even Donald Trump spoke to those in his party who didn't want Kevin McCarthy, because they felt he was not loyal enough and he would betray them. He spoke to them. They said, no, you should stay out of it. They voted 15 times. It is not, it's not very recently, 15 times. And you see now, a test. You think the man will not be able to talk because of the slim majority. Yeah. But they swept something through. The debt ceiling. If they don't pass the debt ceiling in America, the system will collapse, because they won't be able to pay salaries. And the president said he will not budge, that what he has sent should be passed like that. Thinking that the Republicans will never agree, but somehow they agree. So they pass it to him. But then, since their system checks and balance, they will go to Senate. The Senate, it will die there in the Senate.
But Mr. Sobowale, yes. You know, part of the communique, you know, from the excerpt of what the ex-lawmakers had to say, they said that allowing the emergence of a natural leadership would bring better harmony, understanding, mutual respect, and less politicization.
Yes,
but you've mentioned that crucial point, which is the Muslim ticket.
Yes.
Now, if things are allowed to emerge naturally, and then a certain group is alienated when we allow things to emerge naturally, at what point would it be okay or acceptable for slight meddling by the president-elect or governors-elect?
That is the nature of change. You get me? Nobody can bottle change. Nobody expected the Muslim ticket, because we are always talking of balancing. But APC was bold enough to do it, so it must be ready for the consequences of it, because I cannot predict. That is why people are speculating. We've not done it before. You cannot look at the geopolitical zones in isolation of the Muslim ticket because it's a religious dichotomy. It was under the carpet before, but you have to reckon with it. No party can ignore it because that's the ticket in power. You get to now, and you cannot have a monopoly of power in one religion. So Nigeria is a federation of so many ethnic groups. In a federation, you must have respect for local values, local history, local traditions, and local beliefs, which is what the Muslim ticket is all about.
Definitely.
It cannot be ignored.
I definitely agree with that.